Welcome back
to the Legal Lounge podcast, where you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force him to drink it.
That's so dumb. Well, we're trying something new. Well, I'm your host, Kerensa. Here we have Cody, our co-host for Legal Lounge, and then we have our special guest today, Miss Haley Knighton. She's our defense attorney here at the law office of Brian Fagan. We had her on the podcast before. What has it been, like 2 months? 2 months maybe. It's been a while. If you have not checked it out, check the description, and then also click here. We'll link the part 1, part 2. So there are 2 parts. When we talked to her about her journey, about her becoming a lawyer, we asked some questions. We talked about what is it? Death penalty? What's that word? Oh my god, I can't think of the word right now.
It was
execution style, or
no, it was the death. It was the death penalty. It was like
right?
whether or not people should be. Was it the school shooting? No, what was it? The death.
Anyway, watch it. But it was really good. We went into a really good conversation with Haley. So welcome back again.
Thank you.
So just in case if you have not watched a part 1, part 2, but you still want to keep on watching this one, could you give us a little bit of introduction as to who you are? What do you practice? Obviously criminal law, but
My name's Haley Knighton. I'm an associate attorney here at the law office Brian Fagan. I practice criminal defense and family law. Been doing criminal defense for 17 years. Well, criminal law for 17 years. Five of that I was a prosecutor. So,
dang, I always thought you were a prosecutor a lot longer than defense attorney.
Yeah.
Oh. How was that transition like from prosecutor into defense?
It's different. It's not a big transition.
Yeah.
But
did you ever think about going back to become a prosecutor or no?
Some.
Really? What makes you, I guess, is there certain instances that would happen in the case that you make it feel like you're better suited, or maybe you enjoy the prosecution side better?
I enjoy defense work more.
Okay.
Prosecution side, you felt where I was at, it was kind of like you weren't really able to make your own choice. You had to do what the office wanted. So
yeah.
Every time you say that, I think of Suits. Have you ever seen that
Yes.
show? Suits. Every time I think that, because Harvey Specter he started in prosecution, I think, too. She's like the Harvey Specter of the law office, Brian Fagan.
What, and then switch to defense attorney?
Have you ever seen Suits?
No.
Stop asking. I'm just kidding. No, what was the question?
Because you said
I was thinking of my
was a prosecutor, but then you made it seem like
because he started off as a prosecutor in the DA's office, I think, something like that, and then he turned into was it corporate? Is that corporate law, or is that?
Oh, it's not even doing criminal at all.
It has stuff to do with he's a defense attorney also, but he defends big companies and lawsuits and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good show up until the last 2 seasons probably. I never saw the last season. I'm still on the one before that, but I stopped watching it. It's pretty good until then, though.
Interesting. Well, for today's episode, instead of talking about your life and how is it like being an attorney, we wanted to bring in 3 highly publicized cases to discuss and dissect those cases. We Cody and I, we often do that when we talked about Murdoch case recently. What do we do the last one?
The Menendez.
Oh yeah, we did the Menendez trial. That's still ongoing, which I think it's still interesting. But we picked Casey Anthony, and we're gonna also discuss the Aaron Hernandez case and then Chris Watts case. So all 3 were highly publicized, talked about, made documentaries.
I'm sure most people know about the last 2, the Hernandez and the.
I think most people would know that Casey Anthony.
Really?
I think so.
Because I didn't know about the Casey Anthony one.
Really?
I knew about the Aaron Hernandez and the Chris, whatever.
I mean, Casey Anthony was, I guess, late 2000s, right?
I was born. I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, the trial took place in 2011. So, I mean, 2011, it seemed a lot further back than that. I didn't realize. But anyway, so we're going to discuss about it. I wanted to ask questions in terms of, just kind of comparing it to how we would live in it day-to-day basis, and just kind of ask you questions about it. What are your opinions on how the case, the way it went and how it was portrayed? Casey Anthony, for those of you who don't know, she was a mother of a 2-year-old daughter, Caylee Anthony. They're residing in Florida, and Caylee was last seen on June 16 of 2008, but her grandmother, Cindy Anthony, reported her missing to the authorities on July 15 after Casey, which again is the mother, could not provide her whereabouts and made a series of vague claims about her daughter's location, who was then 22. The mom was 22 at the time, and she initially told investigators that a nanny named Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez had kidnapped Caylee, but this person was later found to be fictitious. So that's
the first lie.
Right.
She didn't get, I don't know if you already mentioned that, if she didn't get, okay.
Well, I mean, everybody knows she was not found guilty
of the murder, but she was found guilty on 4 counts of lying to the police or something like that.
Is that criminal?
Mm-hmm.
It is?
Yeah.
That is, okay.
She lied about evidence or something like that.
So Caylee remains were discovered in 2008 in a wooded area near the Anthony family home, wrapped in a blanket inside of a trash bag, and showed evidence of duct tape. Casey was charged with first-degree murder and faced the death penalty. The prosecution argued that Casey has suffocated Caylee using chloroform and duct tape, likely because she saw her daughter as a hindrance of her lifestyle. They cited Casey's pattern of partying and lying as signs of neglect. The defense, led by Jose Baez, argued that Caylee had accidentally drowned in a family pool and that Casey's father, George Anthony, helped cover up the death to avoid criminal charges, further asserting that Casey's strange behavior stemmed from alleged abuse by her father, a claim both George and Cindy denied. The lack of direct physical evidence linking Casey to Caylee's death and the reasonable doubt surrounding the cause of death complicated the prosecution's case. After a highly publicized 6-week trial on July 5, 2011, Casey was acquitted of first-degree murder, aggravated manslaughter, and aggravated child abuse, but was convicted on 4 counts of providing false information to law enforcement. This verdict outraged many who believed Casey was guilty, and public interest in the case persisted due to questions around the justice system, forensic evidence, and media influence. So do you have a little bit of knowledge on the legal side of how you think it went down, or how did you feel were you an attorney then?
Yes.
How did you feel as an attorney when this was?
You remember that case?
I do. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just hearing about it, not inside the courtroom, I feel she's probably guilty.
Yeah.
But
I do too.
I don't think the prosecution was able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she killed her.
Mm-hmm.
I think they threw, I guess the defense threw a lot of false allegations out, what they claim were true, but I mean, never been evidence that her dad, abused her when she was little. There was no evidence that she drowned in the pool.
Oh, there wasn't?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that. I always thought they did found that she...
So why did they say that she drowned in the pool then? If she wouldn't... Because surely if you drown in the pool, there's evidence of like bloating and stuff like that of the body, and what happens, and probably the autopsy would show that if that was the case, then she would have it inside, in her lungs and stuff.
So I can't remember when the body was found. I think it was a while.
It was later. It wasn't right away.
So
yeah.
There was a lot of decomposition and everything. I don't think they could point to an exact cause of death. I believe they listed it as homicide, but they couldn't point to like blunt force trauma or was she strangled or...
That's weird.
So it wasn't until almost 6 months later when Caylee's remains. So they first reported missing on June 16th. And then it wasn't until December 11th when her remains were discovered near the home.
I wonder if that's why it's like was such a popular case, because it's like, why couldn't they pinpoint a cause of death? Like, did they not do enough? Did they not do enough tests?
I think it just had been so long. They were pretty sure, the state was, that it was homicide. But they just didn't have the actual physical evidence to prove it.
Until 6 months later.
Well, then they had the body, but then you have the defense coming in and saying, well, it was an accidental death. But then we just covered it up because nobody wanted to get in trouble.
Yeah.
But I remember there were pictures that came out of Casey partying, real close after. I don't remember if it was after her daughter was reported missing or it was after they found the body. It was, her behavior was just...
It was. I remember, going, the grocery store, they got a bunch of magazines, People magazines. It was always about, Casey Anthony doing this, Casey Anthony doing this. So I remember seeing it that way as a kid, and then me researching on my own. And I believe, there were some, evidence of her looking up chloroform on the website, right? And then they still deemed it as not guilty. So, and then also too, it looks like they even found forensic evidence suggesting human decomposition in her car.
Yes. So and I don't remember, I didn't watch every day of the trial, but I don't remember if they went much into that in the trial. I know it came up, but I don't remember if they had experts to discuss it. And
that's crazy. So think about decomposition. Maybe now things have changed with technology and, advanced science and stuff like that. But maybe even back then, is it too late to really find the cause? Or is there a mishandle of evidence at
It
that
depends on, of course, the forensic stuff they have. But it also depends on how long a body's been out there. I know she was in a trash bag. And then, so it's a little different than a body just laying on the ground.
Yeah.
But, if months and years go by, then you're not going to have anything but bones. So it's hard to prove certain things unless there was a really big blunt force trauma that caused kind of a...
Yeah, because that remains on your bones.
Yeah.
So the drowning with your lungs and stuff that you're talking about, that's probably not going to be as...
I honestly didn't even think about if humans decompose that quickly. I never even thought.
How long does it take? Do you know?
I don't know.
She's like, it takes approximately.
What? I'm just trying to think. Does it? I would think.
I think they start decomposing pretty quickly.
Dang.
But I don't know how long, the full process to where then there's just bones. I don't know how long that takes.
Thank you for watching another episode of Legal Lounge. If you enjoyed this episode, you can always give our office a call to schedule your free 30-minute consultation with one of our team members. Check the description below and give us a call today.